All right, it is Leomana Martinez getting ready for his third trip to the UFC's Octagon. Talk to me about where we stand at this point, man. Are we is the hard work done? Are we still putting in some grind? Are we tapering down? Where do we stand right now?
Oh, the hard work's continuing. It probably won't taper down until about next week. Actually, it'll taper down, and then finally that last week get into weight cut mode. But yeah, the grind's not stopping, man. It's been amazing out here with the guys here at Glory, and I feel great, man. I feel incredible, John.
That's awesome, man. Let's talk about first. Let's go back a little bit. Obviously, the last fight, great fight, didn't necessarily go your way. I mean, it was a good fight, but I guess there's always lessons to take out of these fights. So, right, what did you take out of it, and what did you think of your performance that night?
Um, Main lesson I took was don't underestimate your opponent. You know what I mean? I've talked about this before, and Um, man, I thought he was gonna go in there and wrestle me, which eventually he did, but he decided to stand there for a little bit and it caught me off guard because I was so heavy expecting a shot. Then I noticed a 1-2 down the pipe, and I'm like, oh, sat me on my ass. You know what I mean? So props to Ronnie for coming with a good game plan, and looking back, that's a big lesson I can take from it is not quite underestimating the guy or their game plan. And with these high level fighters, they're gonna come and mix it up with everything. So it was a good lesson for me. And another big takeaway I took is I got that dog in me, man. As you could tell in that third round, midway through, when I dropped him with the spin back fist, and another shot dropped him. Even when he shot on me that second time, I threw up a triangle armbar. It's just there's no quit in me, man. And so that's another big lesson I found within myself. And it's actually the second time I've been all 15 minutes, and now I know I've got that in my back pocket if needed. But I don't plan on having 15 minutes out there every single time, you know.
No doubt. Yeah, the heart can definitely never be questioned. That's for sure. You put on display. I do wonder just the situation, right? Like, I know on the surface it sounds exciting, right? Oh, I'm gonna fight in my hometown. We're gonna be the big pay-per-view crowd. Like, it seems ideal, right? Like this is the dream. But also in your second UFC fight, man, that's a hell of a lot to deal with. So in retrospect, I mean, I know you're not trying to make excuses or anything, but was that challenging to deal with that situation, that environment?
It really wasn't that challenging. I love fighting in my hometown, man, and I'm so honored and pleased and thankful for the UFC for giving me that opportunity and that chance. And it was a very game opponent in Ronnie. Props to him. But no excuses. Looking back, there was a lot of pressure on my shoulder, especially having a new camp involved with James Krause replacing my old coach. Rest in peace to him. So it was a lot of pressure, but I didn't quite feel it. It's just Ronnie had a better night, that night, and he had a hell of a game plan. So I didn't quite make the adjustments I needed to the third round, and by then it was a little bit too late. So lesson learned. But man, if I had the opportunity again, I'd fight anybody in my hometown. I love it. And when Bruce Buffer announced my name and he just heard that pop from the crowd, especially it was like only like the third, fourth fight of the night, and you would think that Izzy was fighting, which he ended up did fighting later that night. But I was like, man, it's so loud, and I felt the love and the energy from everybody. And I love my hometown, Houston, man. It was amazing. I just got chills talking about it again. So it was a real blessing and an honor to fight in my hometown. And if we could do it again, let's do it, man.
I love it. Well, I hope you'll get that opportunity again. It looks like Houston's in firm rotation once again, so I bet you'll get that chance again. I did want to ask you, obviously you mentioned the move to Glory MMA and Fitness. I mean, it wasn't necessarily by choice, but it's a great academy. It's a great team. But, the first one, you go in there and you don't get the result you want. Do you start second guessing? Are you like, oh, is this the right home for me? Or maybe I need to do something else? Or did you know, no, James Krause, Glory MMA, that's where I'm going?
I never had any doubt. A lot of people talk about trust in the process, and trust is a hard thing. So I had faith in the process, man. I'm a big believer of the man upstairs, and I know, not everything is just roses on the other side, and it's all nice all the time. You know what I mean? So it was a good healthy dose of reality, and I had faith. Like I said, I knew James Krause is the right guy, especially him reaching out to me after my first fight, and opening his gym doors to me, and allowing me to come and be part of the team. that just, goes to show, he really wanted me in there, and took full advantage of it. But of course, I didn't get the result I wanted, but I continue to have faith. And, this second trip out here, I've fully moved out here permanently. Got my own house out here, everything like that, away from my family. And I truly believe that this is probably one of the best moves that's been made so far in my career, and I'm super thankful for it, man. So just having faith in that process, and continuing to push and grind through day in and day out.
That's awesome. So how long you been out there?
I've been out here since June. Since June.
Wow.
So quite a few months. It's been some adjusting, a little bit of a culture shock. Houston's very fast paced. Houston, it's a city, so this thing's happening, that thing's happening. But here out here in Lee Summit, Missouri, it's a very slower pace, but it's been what's best for me, and I'm very thankful for it, man. I can't be much more grateful to James Krause, and like I keep mentioning, the whole team at Glory. It's been awesome out here, man.
That's awesome to hear. So, I mean, look, at this point, it's been 8 months since we've seen you compete. And now knowing that, hey, you've been out there for the past 3, I mean, there's a potential for some real growth from what we saw last time out, right? I mean, do you feel like there's been significant changes made during this time?
Significant changes, John. And I'll tell you, man, not only on the mats with, sharpening my skill set and adding new skills, but off the mats as well. I mentioned I moved away from my family, and staying with your parents, you can kind of backpack off them for a while, and come home. Oh, your laundry's done. Or come home, dinner's made. Man, I've had to man up out here, and it's been a blessing, man. I truly feel it. I feel a lot more confident being out here on my own, and having to do more things on my own. And come October 15th is definitely gonna show in that cage, man. My confidence has grown through the roof now that I know I'm out here on my own, doing it by myself. Everything's being done, and yeah. And then on top of that, the stuff and everything we're learning here at Glory is just gonna be all put together October 15th for an awesome breakout performance, man.
I love it. Talk to me about the matchup, Brandon Davis. I mean, on paper, I mean, I don't know if you're allowed to let yourself think like this, but to me, I look at this fight, I say, "Ooh, they're gonna go at it, man. This is gonna be fight of the night type war." I mean, I know you probably want to go in there and throw one punch and knock him out and be done and call it a day, but this to me looks like it's gonna be a scrap. Is that what you're expecting?
Exactly. Everybody's been, kind of licking their chops over it, and man, this is fight of the night. Both of y'all might walk out with 50, this, that. But like you mentioned, I want to go in there and cash in, cash out, man. I want to go back to my finishing ways, and I truly believe that I can do that with this guy. Prior to these last 2 fights, I was cleaning everybody out first round. I think 1 or 2 fight maybe went to the second round, but I was finishing guys, and I want to show that I can not only do that at the regional level, but I can do it at the highest, facing the best, in the UFC. And I truly believe, as much as everybody wants it to be fight of the night, that I'm gonna go in there, have my way, clean this guy, man, and still walk away with some extra, cash in my pockets. But if it does get down to the nitty gritty, I mentioned again, I can go all 15 minutes, but my cardio's improved tremendously. My dieting has been cleaner than ever, and it's gonna all show October 15th. I can't say it enough, and my actions will definitely speak louder than my words.
I love it, man. Yeah, it's funny, right? As fans, we're always talking about the fight of the night, but as fighters, you're like, no, I want the performance of the night, man. I'm not trying to get in a fight of the night. I'm trying to get done.
Exactly. I've been through the grinder, been in the blender these past few fights, all 15 minutes. So I'm trying to get out of here and one in this next fight, and man, try to pull off another one by the end of the year. I've kind of been avoiding, I don't want to fight during Christmas, or I don't want to fight during Thanksgiving. That way I could eat, or spend time with my family. But being out here on my own, I've realized that there's no holidays in this fight game. There's no going back home and celebrating someone's birthday, or oh, let's meet up and have this party, that party. It's all a grind, man. It's a constant lifestyle, and I'm a true martial artist at heart. Always have been since I was younger with my karate background, and I'm coming back to my old ways, and it's gonna be a scary sight.
I love it, man. I guess back at the Apex, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, it's not the hometown, it's not the big crowd, but you've had some success there. You know what it feels like. So are you excited to be back in the Apex, or is it kind of like, ah?
I definitely am. That first fight I had there, I'm so thankful I went 15 minutes because I can still smell like the mat, that air before you walk out. As weird as it sounds, but if I had been in there and got out of there in 2 minutes or the first round, I kind of wouldn't have had that experience or remember that feeling. I feel like, but fortunately, I did go all 15, and I remember that feeling. I remember him cracking me with leg kicks, which I'm sure this guy's going to try and do as well. But adjustments have been made. Leg kicks will be checked. So I'm excited. I just seen that this upcoming card is this weekend. Dern and I forgot who she's fighting. There won't be any
Janjana.
media or
Yeah.
outside people, so I'm kind of wondering if that'll be the same case for mine, and if so, I'll have to mentally prepare for that because when I fought for Contender Series, that's what it was like. It was during the pandemic, and you could hear a pin drop, and there was so quiet, man, and so if that's the case for my card, I'll start mentally preparing myself and honing in on not being able to hear anybody because even having that little crowd or the media members there is a little warming compared to just officials and Mick Maynard, Sean Shelby, Hunter Campbell, and Dana White. It's that one. Like I said, you can hear a pin drop, crickets in there. So either way, I'll be ready, and I'm excited, man. I'm amped up.
I love it. Yeah, it's a crazy era, man. Like it was kind of like it was cool in some ways because it was you've never seen fights like. But for the fighters themselves, I can't imagine. Even just like the, I mean, obviously it's not the case anymore. But during that time, like I can't even imagine like making sure that you have the right energy level, right? Like you walk in there and there's not the nerves of the crowd or whatever. Like you're walking into like a sparring session or something, but it's a full on cage fight. That had to be the weirdest time for you guys.
Bro, you're telling me yes, and then on Contender Series you get no walkout music,
That's
and I
true.
was like, can I wear my headphones out? And one of the UFC personnel's, oh, I can't have headphones in, nothing like that. So I'm kind of reciting like lyrics in my head, like, oh, this is my walkout song. I gotta get amped up, and sure enough, man, going there and like you mentioned, I kind of felt like it was a sparring match. Boom, boom, boom. 1 minute there, and then triangle. I'm getting woken up. I'm like, damn, man. Like I didn't even get to showcase anything. Like, but it's all right. I look back and I watch that fight sometimes, occasionally, and then I'll think about the mistakes that need to be fixed, and that mental, kind of capacity that I need to fix and be ready for in case something like that does happen. But yeah, it was definitely a weird time. Thankful for the UFC still, promoting and having shows, and they don't ever stop, man. That's one thing I love about working for this company is there's no stop. They're constantly going, constantly pushing out cards. This guy's up next, that guy, and I really love it, man.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, well, you get your next shot on October 15th, Brandon Davis at the Apex. I think it's going to be a phenomenal fight. Last thing I'll ask you, man, I mean, I guess, I don't know, hearing your excitement level, knowing that you've relocated, you've moved, you changed your life, I don't this feel like a big moment, like a start of something new. I mean, this is like an all new version. Is that kind of what you're expecting here?
It definitely is, John. It definitely is, and you can just hear it by the way I'm confidently speaking. This will be my breakout performance, and the whole bantamweight division is going to be put on notice. Like I mentioned and said, this has been a long time coming, and I've kind of been laying low, avoiding this holiday, that holiday. But after this fight, it's going to be all gas, man. Anybody in the division can get in. They better be ready and tuned in October 15th because you're going to get that performance from me every single time, and don't miss it, man. As much as you guys want it to be fight of the night, which it could possibly end up being that way and playing out that way, I'll be ready for it. I don't see it that happening that way, and oh man, it's gonna be an exciting night to
I
say the
love
least.
it, man. I love it. I love seeing the excitement, man. Awesome. Well, I cannot wait for that. October 15th, we'll be tuning in. I appreciate the time as always, and you will be there on October 15th, of course.
Thank you, John.